And it's preparing to live stream. It's loading pretty fast. It says done, redirecting to YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, my end shows.
So
Okay,
that's
we'll call the
good.
meeting to order at 3:08. So shouldn't be anything extra, so we'll look for an adoption of the agenda as presented.
Terry.
Terry and Curtis, thank you. And we'll move into old business 3.1, potential changes to the current PHO's orders from January 8th. So I think we're all aware that the orders were extended for another month to February 8th. And the order affecting the pipeline was extended another week until I think they come back next Monday, from what I understand. So they were given another week extension as well. So with that, I'll open the floor for discussion. Or not.
The Kimbo ads we're running, there's some feedback on those that's not necessarily awesome, just due to some confusion. So people are seeing the ads in their profile or in their feed, and then right below it, they're seeing Tourism Valemount saying now's not the time to come. So there's been some shady comments on there. I don't know how we can deal with that. It's social media. We're always going to get it, but there seems to be several of them that people are thinking that we are confused, perhaps, because we're advertising with those videos and then telling people, then asking people not to come as well. So,
right.
Maybe that can just be fixed with Kimbo adjusting the hashtags or something, if that's what the group sees fit, but or the message with the video. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty tough time to have an advertising campaign and with the messaging that we have to put out. So any other thoughts? Anybody else hearing any feedback in the community?
Just the usual Facebook comments from one particular person, but no, I mean, people are coming. It's just like Jasper. Jasper's been so full, they've had to stop them at the park gates and tell them they can't go skiing. You know, hotels are full. And I guess hotel rooms are a real mess because everyone's eating in them. So it's, yeah.
Wow.
Just the way it is.
Yeah. Sylvia, go ahead.
Yeah, last week there was a lot happening on radio CBC in the morning show, the Daybreak. So on last Thursday, phones in from McBride, and of course complaining about the situation. And on Friday from Valemount, and yesterday also they interviewed our MLA, Shirley Bond. So there's a lot of stuff happening also in that perspective. And if you want to listen to the interviews and comments, just kind of go to CBC Daybreak North.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you know, anybody on social media, we're kind of seeing what's hitting the keyboards out there from those in the community and outside the community right now. But yeah, I don't think we really have an avenue to control it. I mean, like you said, Jasper's, they're turning them away at the park gates, but pretty hard for us to do that at the border. So any comments on your end, Tony? No?
No, not really. I think, yeah, I don't really have anything to say.
Okay. Okay.
I haven't heard any of anybody being turned around at the park gates, but there's, yeah, I don't think there's too much we can do right at this time. Just it's extended and we'll just float by there. I think no action is where we're at.
Yeah. I mean, my hope is that with what's going on in the community, people get a little more aware and just be more cognizant of it. I mean, from the public and businesses. I mean, we can't say we're not touched by it anymore. So I think everybody needs to be careful and take those extra precautions. There's a lot of frustration in the community right now. I've talked to several people since it kind of hit the news, and there's a lot of frustration on how it's handled. But I mean, I guess I understand the government side of things as well, as far as not giving out more information than they want. So I think that's the best we can do is talk to the stakeholders about being careful, keeping their businesses compliant, and mask friendly. I haven't heard any reports on any masking issues as far as confrontation and stuff like that in the community. So Silvio, you had your hand up for a second.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure, and this also for Terry, if you have received the last informative emails about the grants, because now there are some real grants out there, and Jennifer, she can tell us when she did send them out. I think when we just came back after Christmas, and so there is some real grant money, so it's not loans, okay? And if you don't recall that you have received those emails, please let us know, and Jennifer, she will send you again the links for those grants. And that's key, and it's for tourism businesses. So it's not for other type of businesses, but it's for business and tourism. And in this case, most likely you could be the perfect business that can qualify. So please make sure, let Jennifer know if you haven't received it, and we make sure that you get that link again.
Silvio, is that
time, I think.
Silvio, is that the small business program?
Yes.
So that is for every business. It doesn't have to be tourism, but if you are tourism, there's an extension for that one. You can add a little bit more on top. I've been researching it quite a bit. You have to have almost a change in business practice to qualify, and that's a hard one. None of these grants have been easy for a small business owner. It's been pretty frustrating.
Okay.
You basically have to have proof of a change in business practice, or you have to give the money back. So, that's it's not there to help us. It's to help us change our business to match COVID, from what I've seen. And I've done quite a bit of research on it. But, yeah.
I myself have spent half a day trying to dig through it all and wondering if I got my paperwork all in order, but that's the same thing as I'm seeing as Curtis, like a change in business, or for me, for instance, to look at it is, and that I look, how do I move forward in this COVID moving forward? In my case, for instance, is okay, let's power up the campground, give better power, therefore, because we're going to be hosting interprovincial travel for the next year. So that, that little bit there looks like there might be a little bit of light.
I think that would qualify, Terry. I think you should go for that.
Yeah, that's kind of, but for you, Curtis, to change your bit, you're not, okay, how are you going to change your guiding? Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I get it.
Okay.
But yes, I did see it. It's quite a few humps. It's a lot of paperwork that got, that's got to be done, and historical paperwork that as a business need to be filled out that I'm way behind. Hence to say that's why I got glasses on and 35 on these tables. Yeah, thank you very much, Silvio. I did get that, and yes, if that's the one, yes, I have been looking into it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Tony.
Yeah, sorry, we sort of skimmed over something in the COVID. You hit a pretty good spot with the town sort of policing COVID stuff and accountability from businesses. I think is really important at this point. Again, I don't see anything from the municipality or the town that's supporting business, chamber either. But so I'm wondering if anything's going to be coming from the municipal level, as it probably should have 6 months ago, with signage around town, bylaw officers helping to enforce these rules. It's one thing to have these conversations at a meeting and say, the business is responsible for that. But I don't see a whole heck of a lot of support coming from the community. I see a whole lot of finger pointing and people telling us we should be doing this and should be doing that with very little support. So is there not something that can be done from the municipal level or from the town level, that there's signs at the entrances saying we are COVID safe, wear a mask? I mean, to put my business hat on for a second, we are dealing with people who are coming here that are just ridiculous. Like, whether they're sledders or not is irrelevant. And it's not just sledders, it's people that are traveling through here that are being ridiculous about that. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know. Where does it say I have to wear a mask besides the 40 signs that I have around, the hotel? But you can go to other communities and they have big signs up. They have big light signs up that say put a mask on or we're COVID safe or whatever that might be. So, I'm not sure if that's something that has to go to the council, or if it should be discussed at this level. Is it something that tourism takes on? Or is it something the chamber takes on?
Okay. Yeah, and I'll make a quick comment and I'll jump on to you, Wayne. And and we had to go to Prince George for my wife to have surgery and spent 2 nights there. And even there, with the signage, you're still seeing like elevator will open and family of 4 come out with no masks, and you're just sitting there going, wow. Like, I mean, I don't know what's going to make it more aware for people, but Wayne, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, so we did put a report forward to council in order to purchase signage and to put up banners. The concern we ran into, though, is that if we put banners up, like standards on the lights, was that if we had a significant snowfall and there was any changes to the orders, we might not be able to respond fast enough to be able to pull those down. So what we didn't want to be was in a situation where we're telling everybody to, for example, say wear masks, and for some reason we were told no longer that was something we had to do. So the problem is that the information is changing quite quickly, and it's hard for us to keep up with the limited resources we have. We have, of course, the thing is, though, is it really is incumbent on people coming or traveling to know what the rules are before they travel. There is a message out there that you're frankly not supposed to travel unless it's essential. So there's really not an awful lot we can do to get people to actually do something, provided, especially with the stipulations that we've been provided. So, as per bylaw, we did go around and we informed all the businesses of the new rules when they were brought out in November. That wasn't met very well by some businesses. They didn't think that, let's just say it wasn't always a positive response. All we are is the messengers. We don't have any authority to enforce any bylaws whatsoever. That's the police. We don't have any authority over whether or not we wanted to mandate masks. That's the province. The province, from the very beginning of this pandemic, took it completely out of the municipalities' hands. They even told us that we couldn't even declare a state of emergency, that all would be rescinded if there were any state of emergencies, because it was the province that was going to state the provincial state of emergency. So we're doing what we can within the confines of what we're allowed to do. We don't have a huge bylaw enforcement presence. So no, we probably haven't been going around and inspecting businesses as much as we maybe could have. But also too, we haven't received any complaints from the public about any issues with local businesses as well. And we do rely on the public as being a partner of helping us to police those sort of things. So I understand where you're coming from. We will endeavor to do more, but they're really, our powers are pretty limited in what we can do.
Yeah, a couple comments. I understand we are limited bylaw wise, but I mean, if you watch the news, other communities, bylaw officers are dealing with it. you know, they're on the front lines. That's why I believe it's Burnaby is looking to go to body cams, because their bylaw officers are front and center dealing with some hostile situations. But to Tony's point, I mean, would an option be one of those light up highway signs on the highway, you know, that flashes a message, wear your mask, we're COVID friendly. You know, we only have one in and one out. To rent a couple of those trailer signs and put one on the north and south. I mean, you have to be pretty oblivious to not realize that masks are mandatory everywhere. Like, I'm sorry, I would laugh at you if you told me you didn't know a mask was required. Like, where have you been for the last 9 months? But, you know, I don't know if that's an option. I mean, if we need that visible reminder when people hit Swift Creek Bridge that, hey, you need to put a mask on. I'm not sure. Go ahead, Wayne.
I just want to point out too, and sorry, no disrespect, Pete, but using Burnaby as an example for bylaw enforcement is not a good comparison for a village of 1,000 people. We have
I agree.
Very limited resources, and we are doing about as much as every other small municipality is doing in BC that's our size, and that's the big difference. And I just want to remind people, remember, you are seeing what's happening in Alberta and you're seeing what's happening in BC. It's very different. In Alberta, the province gave all authority to the municipalities to make their rules and do what they wanted them, and they decided how to proceed. That was not allowed, that was not provided to us whatsoever. If it's something though that the committee would like, something like boards, for example, that were set up like mobile light boards, by all means, why not ask council to look into putting that towards, well, we could put some money towards that and see if we could rent those type of boards and have them set outside of our community. That's something we could look to. I believe that LDM has some of those, but I don't know if they're the property of Modi or who they belong to. But it is something we can look at. You know, interesting enough, I'm actually looking at requesting some of those light boards right now for a completely different thing. So maybe we could multi-purpose them. Be something we could do.
Okay, that's something we can put on the agenda for next week's meeting and discuss that towards taking it to council.
Yeah, I just think too, something like that, like boards, you know, that should be paid for by council. That shouldn't be being paid for by us. Like that's just my thought on it. But I don't know. I think things are getting worse, and I think things are going to get a whole lot worse in this next 30 days. That's what I'm really scared of. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. Anybody else have anything they want to throw on the table? Okay. Well, I think that pretty much covers everything. We know where we are for the next month until February 8th as far as restrictions, unless things go sideways and things escalate. But yeah, I guess just in our conversations with stakeholders in the community, just, you know, really emphasize compliance and, you know, the whole masks, hand washing and social distancing for the next month, and see if we got to get through this.
Yeah, I think the businesses are doing a great job.
Yeah.
Because it's left on to us. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if nobody has anything else, we can adjourn the meeting, and we'll have our regular meeting next Tuesday on the 19th. And so when do we need items for the agenda for next meeting? That had to be in Thursday.
You're muted, Jen.
Sorry, thanks. It's today at noon.
It was today at noon. Okay,
But given that the procedure bylaw states that the agenda has to be published by Thursday. The due dates is we could probably work with those just to, if anybody has anything to put into this upcoming agenda for Thursday, if it came down to it. The big thing is we have to have the agenda published by Thursday at noon.
okay. Okay,
Just reasonable.
thanks, Wayne. All right, if everybody's good with that, we'll adjourn the meeting and we will talk next Tuesday again.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Great, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Silvio, I stay here. Tell me what to do. Oh, you're muted.
You click stop recording first of all.
Okay. Okay, stop cloud recording, yes. Okay,
And then you stop also the one that says
stop live stream.
live
More.
stream on YouTube.
Okay,